Hello everyone and welcome to week 2, day 8. Today our theme is ground. We're working to invoke an energy of grounding. And the reason why? Well, uncertainty has been the theme of our lives for the last year and counting. This practice today will hopefully leave you feeling grounded by cultivating a sense of stability that I think we're all seeking. Throughout this practice, focus on being rooted intentionally. Try and create a spaciousness within. When we are grounded, it doesn't matter what external situation, difficulty, or challenge we're facing. Once we can be grounded from within, we create this sense of security and safety. And when we feel safe and secure, we can then focus our energy on things that serve us, like cultivating an attitude of gratitude or showing compassion to others or even ourselves instead of dwelling on the negative. We'll begin today's practice standing at the top of our mat in Tadasana. Before we begin, let's check in with our foundations here. So we are standing at the top of our mat, feet are inner hip distance apart. Grounding down through all four corners of the feet, drawing that energy up from the arches. So our legs are engaged from our whole foot, the toes to the heel, drawing that energy up through the arches, feeling that activation in our ankles, all the way up our calves. Kneecaps are lifted, thighs engaged, butt cheeks squeezing together, pelvis activated. Nice and strong like a mountain. Roll the shoulders down the back, stacking the head over the heart and the heart over the pelvis. Palms are facing forward, fingertips spread, lots of energy between the fingers. Tadasana, our mountain pose. We'll take a nice deep breath in and send both hands out either side, bringing them up overhead. Palms come together. Exhale, fold forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Keep a nice bend in the knees here if you need it. Plant both hands on either side of the feet and step it back 1 foot, followed by the next to your plank. From here, we're holding steady in our plank, pressing away from the earth with our hands. Make space between your ears and your shoulders. Navel draws up to meet the spine, igniting that core from our day 5. Take a nice deep breath in, and on your exhale, hinge the hips up and back to our downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet here. We're warming up our ankles, getting that mobility going. And on your next inhale, we'll sweep the right toes up towards the sky, keeping the hips square to the mat. And on the exhale, bend the right knee and draw it all the way up the midline and plant it at the top of the mat. Our left foot will pivot and plant 45-degree angle. So envision the left toes pointing to the top left corner of your mat. Bending into that front knee. Front knee is over the front ankle. If you look down, you should be able to see your toes. Be mindful of if your knee is going past your toes, and if it is, just call it back and stack it over the ankle. You may need to widen your stance a little here. On the inhale, we'll sweep both hands up and overhead to our warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Take a nice deep breath in here. We're growing nice and strong, rooting down through the right leg as we shift our front body forward and lift the left leg all the way up to our warrior 3. Virabhadrasana 3. Again, hips are nice and square to the front of the mat. Back foot is nice and flexed or pointed or a mixture of the two. Nice and strong in the right leg. We'll bring both hands down to touch the ground, keeping that left leg lifted. From here, we'll walk the left hand into the center of the mat, and yogi's choice. Palm can be flush to the ground or lift up onto the fingertips. On your inhale, we'll sweep the right fingertips up towards the sky, taking a nice twist here in our half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Exhale, we'll float the right fingers back down. And on our inhale, we'll lift both hands all the way up as we lower the left leg back down, coming to our high crescent lunge. Thighs are squeezing together here. Back heel is lifted and pulling to the back of the room. Left hand drops to the back of the left thigh, and the right fingertips just reach back for a little back bend, side body stretch on the right. On your next inhale, we'll cartwheel the hands down to frame the right foot, and we'll step the right foot back to our plank. Holding it nice and steady here in our plank. We'll inhale and lower the knees, chest and chin, hugging those elbows in. Exhale, release to the ground. Pressing into the tops of the feet, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Inhale to your Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, we'll tuck the toes under and press it up and back to our downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet again, especially if you find that flow was a little heavy in the right ankle. Maybe you pick up your right leg and do some ankle circles one way, and then reverse your circle. When you're ready, you can just place that right leg back down to your down dog. And on your next inhale, send your gaze up to the top of the mat. Bend the knees and come up onto the tippy toes. It's okay if you look a little silly. Pressing all of your weight forward into your hands, we'll step or hop it up to the top. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. On our inhale, we'll root to rise, sending the hands out either side and bringing them all the way overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, send the hands out either side, bringing them up overhead, palms together. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, making a figure 7 with your body. Exhale, fold. Plant the palms on either side of your feet and step it back 1 foot followed by the next to your plank. Holding steady here in your plank, make some space in between your ears and your shoulders. Take a nice deep breath in, fire up that core, and exhale, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Again, you can pedal out the feet here if that feels good, as we're preparing for our balancing flow on the other side. Take a few seconds before we begin to come back to your breath, to remember our theme of grounding, to be rooted, to be anchored. And in that root and that anchor, creating spaciousness. On our next inhale, we'll sweep the left toes up towards the sky, keeping the hips square to the mat. Exhale, bend that left knee and draw it all the way up the center line of the mat and plant it at the top of the mat in between your hands. Right foot pivots and plants at a 45-degree angle, so right toes facing the right top corner of your mat. Inhale, we'll rise the hands up overhead to our warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Bending into that front knee, widening the stance if we need to. Hips are square to the front of the mat. Hug the low ribs in if they're splaying out. Activate that core. Nice strong warrior one here will grow nice and strong in that left leg as we start to shift the front body forward and pick up our right leg to our warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. From here, we'll send both hands down to the ground. Again, yogi's choice, coming up onto the fingertips or planting them flat on the earth. We'll walk the right hand into the center, and on an inhale, send the left fingertips up towards the sky, sending the gaze up towards that left hand for our half moon twist. Exhale, we'll float the left fingertips down. And on our next inhale, as we begin to lower the right leg, we'll send both hands up, coming into our high crescent lunge. From here, our right hand comes to the back of our right thigh, and the left fingertips extend a little further up and back for a side body stretch. Little revolved high lunge twist. Cartwheel the hands down to frame the front foot, step the left foot back. From here, we'll lower our knees, chest, and chin, hugging those elbows in. Exhale, release fully to the ground. Press into the tops of the feet, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and inhale, rise up to your Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, we'll tuck the toes under and hinge the hips up and back to our downward facing dog. On our next inhale, send the gaze up towards the top of the mat. Bend the knees, coming up onto the tippy toes. Shift the weight into all 10 fingers as you get that lift in the hips as you step, hop, float, or jump up to the top. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening the spine. Make space between the ears and the shoulders. Exhale, fold forward. Grounding down through the feet nice and strong. We'll inhale and root to rise, sending the hands out either side, bringing them all the way overhead. Exhale, palms come together at the heart. Awesome. From here, we're headed into another balancing pose, so you can relax the hands down or bring them to the hips. We'll check in with our Tadasana, mountain pose foundations again. Our feet are inner hip distance apart. We're grounding down through all 4 corners and drawing that energy up from the earth. We'll really press our weight into our left leg as we slowly come up onto the right big toe. When you're ready, you can inhale and lift that right knee up, coming to our one-legged Tadasana. From here, with the right hand, we can take hold of the right foot and plant it or place it into the left thigh, the left calf, or even the left ankle, leaving the toes on the ground for added stability. Wherever we are, we're pressing the sole of that right foot into the left leg and pressing the left leg right back into it, creating a sense of balance and stability. You can find something that's not moving to look at to help you with your balance. If your hands are on your hips, you can go ahead and bring them to prayer at heart center and Jali Mudra. And when you've got your balance nice and steady, you can inhale and extend your hands out overhead, growing your tree branches. Exhale. We'll bring the hands back to heart. Take one more nice deep breath in here. And exhale, we'll release the right leg down and shake it out, especially that left leg. Great, and now we'll prepare to do it on the other side. So coming back to our Tadasana, mountain pose. Standing nice and tall, feet are inner hip distance apart, nice and strong, rooting down. When we're ready, we'll really press our weight into our right leg as we come up onto the left big toe. On our next inhale, we'll lift that left knee up. one-legged Tadasana. And we'll take the left hand and place the left foot into our tree pose, wherever your tree is today, whether it's your thigh, your calf, or your ankle, even with the toes still on the ground for that added support and balance. Keeping a mindful note in our head to not put the sole of the foot over the knee, because our knees are not weight bearing and over time it will cause damage. So wherever we are, we're pressing our left foot into our right leg and our right leg back into our left foot, creating our balance, grounding through the nice, strong right leg. Hands to heart. And when you're ready, on an inhale, you can extend your hands up overhead. Grow your branches nice and tall. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale, bring the hands back to heart. One more breath here. And on the exhale, we'll shake it out. Beautiful. Coming back to our nice strong Tadasana, grounding down through all four corners of the feet. We'll inhale and send both hands up overhead, palms together. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. From here, we'll heel toe our feet out as wide as the mat and putting them on an angle so our toes are pointed out, heels are pointed in. When we're ready on our next exhale, we'll slowly lower the sit bones and the bum all the way down, coming into our yogi squat, Malasana. From here, the backs of the triceps are pressing the thighs or the calves, wherever your flexibility is, pressing them away, opening up the hips as you bring the hands to prayer, Anjali Mudra. Really pressing the palms together, creating that sense again of stability and grounding in our yogi squat. Taking a few breaths. On our next inhale, we'll release the left hand down to the center of the mat, and we'll inhale, we'll extend the right hand up towards the sky, getting that nice twist in the upper back. From here, we'll take this left hand and swing it all the way around the knee, coming to the back of that left hip. The right hand can swing behind, and if you can, take a bind. Gazing up over the right shoulder. Take a nice deep breath in, and exhale, release the bind. We'll switch sides, so bringing the right hand into the center. And inhale, sending the left fingers up towards the sky. The right hand will wrap around the right knee, bringing it to rest on the right hip. And the left hand will come behind and we'll take a bind if we can. Again, keeping the gaze up and over the left shoulder. Heart is still lifted. Beautiful. Exhale, we'll release the bind and we'll send one hand in front and one hand behind to help us guide our sit bones all the way down to the earth. From here, we're bringing our feet and planting the feet in front of us. Bring the hands to the backs of the thighs and we'll rock back until we feel that part of us where our core connects and just activates, it turns on. From here, we'll either leave our feet fully on the ground, or if you have the flexibility in the tops of your feet, you can lift up onto the toes. Or we can inhale and bring both legs up to about 90 degrees, our reverse tabletop. Wherever you are, make sure your core is engaged. And when you're ready, you can release the hands out either side, palms facing up. This time, grounding through our sit bones. connecting to our core. Here in our boat pose, Navasana. Come back to the breath. One more. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release the toes down, planting the soles of the feet in the earth. From here, we'll lift the chest. We'll tuck the chin into the chest and bring the forehead to meet the knees, rounding in the spine, just getting a nice release after that ab work. Beautiful. On our next inhale, release and roll all the way down, back coming flush to the ground. We'll bring our hands to rest on our belly and we'll just hug the knees into the chest. And then we'll extend them all the way down to the ground, opening the legs as wide as the mat, rolling the shoulders down the back, and taking a moment to think about our practice, about the safety and the security that we cultivated, about rooting and grounding. And maybe you recognize that the balancing poses were challenging. Maybe it pushed you out of your comfort zone. And hopefully you'll see that even outside of our comfort zone, if we lean into that discomfort, to that uncertainty, we can still find ways to ground ourselves from within.